Hey Scrap Bosses, I am back with the last installment of December Daily for Slackers. This is my 2017 album, and I started this series to inspire myself and others to complete their old December Daily albums, and so I focused on my 2017 album that I wanted to complete, and I have done that. It is all done. So I'm going to start out with day 22, and on this day I documented how my daughter, who is 8, likes to run into our room, my spouse and I, and jump on our bed and giggle and laugh and jump all over us. And I thought that that would be a fun story to document. Now I was looking for a 3x4 card to journal on, didn't have one that I liked, so I created my own out of some pattern paper from the kit I was using. And if you haven't watched the unboxing for my 2017 album, I'm using the Felicity Jane December kit. Actually, it wasn't a December kit, it was just a holiday kit. They didn't have a kit in December, specifically for December. And also the album is from Felicity Jane from last year. And then I'm also incorporating some things out of my stash, some Ellie Studio stuff, and a whole lot of Allie Edwards things. All right, so what I did was I took a plain white tag and I added that to my 3x4 card that I made. I also have this die cut that I thought I was going to layer on that tag, but I decided against that. I'm going to journal on that little die cut that has a Christmas tree, but first I'm going to add a label from Felicity Jane sticker pack, and it says cozy. Because of course it's always cozy when your kids come and jump in your bed. And she is pictured there laying on top of my spouse, who's under covers trying to hide from her, and she's just giggling and laughing as she does all the time when she jumps in our bed. And it was very early in the morning, by the way, and I think it was on that particular day we were getting ready to head out to see her grandparents in Oklahoma. We spent Christmas in Oklahoma that year. Alrighty, so now I'm going to add a stamp sentiment. That is from an Allie Edwards stamp set. It says this story, and I stamped that with some black Memento ink. I'm going to clean up my stamp real quick using my stamp chamois. That's by Lawn Fawn. I'm going to put all those away. Now I'm trying to decide if there was anything else I wanted to stamp, and I decided against that. So I'm going to take some of these little puffy embellishments from Felicity Jane and just add just a tiny little bit of those little stars there. I'm going to do a little bit of journaling. And the journaling says, today we're getting ready to travel to Edmond, Oklahoma for Christmas. And Maddie and I were greeted by a super energetic kiddo who likes hopping on our bed and hop and plop on us. Okay, we're up. There's no rest when you have a young child at home. So what I did was I drew some journaling strips on that card and just wrote my journaling directly on that tag. Next up, I want to use a sequin that came with the kit, and I probably wouldn't have used it in any other way because I just don't use that much sequin. I poured a good amount of that into the pocket, and now what I want to do is I want to seal it shut. So I'm using my fuse tool by We Are Memory Keepers. I let that heat up for about 10 minutes, and I use that on my glass mat. So there we go, I got my sequence that will stay right in that pocket. And if you're not familiar with the fuse tool, Google Fuse, F-U-S-E, by We Are Memory Keepers. And there are people who've done process videos on using the fuse tool if that's something that you're interested in. Alrighty, so day 23, not much of a big story here. We were headed out, no, we were in Edmond, Oklahoma, I believe. Actually, this may actually not be from day 23. This may be from day 22 when we were getting ready to go to Edmond, Oklahoma to visit our grandparents. But nonetheless, we were in Edmond, Oklahoma on the 23rd, and I have a picture of my mother-in-law's Christmas tree that I'm going to pop up here in just a second. But that's my daughter getting chocolates out of her advent calendar. And then I printed a photo of my mother-in-law's Christmas tree because it's always so beautiful, and it had tons of gifts underneath it for all the grandkids. And I adhered a label that says Deck the Halls. That's from an old Allie Edwards sticker pack that I got with a December Daily kit many years ago. Alrighty, next up, I'm going to work on day 24, and on Christmas Eve we went to go see Santa and Mrs. Claus at a local mall. At that time we were in Edmond, and we went with my mother-in-law. They had beautiful decorations at this particular mall. I think it's called North Park Mall. And I adhered the photo. We purchased 2 of these photos on a piece of pink and white striped pattern paper, and then that little Fa La 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 die cut, and called it good. Next up, continue on with day 24. I thought I would put the wood veneer on that pocket card that says Santa's all-time favorite, but I decided instead to put it on this divider that came with the Felicity Jane kit, and I just added a little bit of Tombow Mono to that and adhered that straight on that divider because I wanted to really be present that that was day 24, to have that separation there. Next up, I'm going to work on the bottom pocket card. There's a little tag that I had in my stash. Don't remember where I got those tags from, but I absolutely love them and I hoard them. I also have a little banner that came in the Felicity Jane kit, and I'm adhering all of that on a piece of that really beautiful plaid green and white pattern paper. Wow, I lost my thought there for a second. Okay, so to the top of that tag, I put another label that says wonderful, again from the Allie Edwards sticker sheet that I got a while back. Here's another Allie Edwards stamp set that I got probably about 2 years ago. And I'm going to stamp a deer head there in the middle of that card. And I might even add a little red dot of some sort so I can make him, I'm sorry, not a deer. That's a reindeer. There we go. And make him Rudolph, but I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe I'll do that later. I just thought of that as I was narrating this video. Anywho, added a little bit of powder to that card, anti-static powder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss this image using some gold heat embossing powder. God, I feel like I'm all over the place. You know what? This is the last December Daily 2017 spread and video that I'm doing. I'm so ready for 2018, so I'm like not even focusing on this, which is sad. Okay, so I went ahead and stamped that on using my Tim Holtz stamp platform because I wanted to do a double stamp, make sure that I got that on perfect. I'm going to take a coffee filter and attempt to not get heat embossing powder on my desk. I failed miserably, but that's okay. Clean that up and moving on. I'm going to heat emboss that deer head, that reindeer head, which I might add a little red dot to make it a Rudolph, but we'll see. And I'm letting that heat embossing powder melt, and I love the way that came out. It's very pretty. And I'm going to add that to that top left pocket. And add a little bit of journaling to that tag down below. And the journaling says, today is Christmas Eve. We headed out to a local mall to see Santa and Mrs. Claus. Grammy Pat tagged along as well. Santa and Mrs. C were fantastic. Mrs. C commented how sweet Corinne was and said, I want to keep her. And I'm sure if Mrs. Santa Claus or Mrs. Claus wanted to take my daughter to the North Pole, my kiddo would be all about that. Turning the page are just some photos of us that we took in front of a beautiful Christmas display. And all I wrote there on that label, that's from Allie Edwards. I'm adding some stickers there from Felicity Jane, is stunning holiday decor. There wasn't really much else to say there, but it was really pretty. Finally, day 25, and as you can imagine, at this point, I'm so over 2017. I'm so excited for 2018. I'm like, I just want to get this album done. So I kept it really simple. I'm going to adhere this wood veneer 25 on the outside of the pocket. That's something that I like to do quite often. And then I'm going to take this other card. I think all the cards there on the page are from Felicity Jane. I'm going to adhere this little chipboard piece that says presents, because of course that's perfect. Now that's done. I'm going to flip it to the back. I'm going to add a flare at the top. That's a Christmas tree flare that came with the Felicity Jane kit. And then I'm going to add a label that says Peace on Earth from that green Allie Edwards sticker set. I'm just really hanging on to that. There's still more stickers on there. I hope to use that in my 2018 album and go ahead and kill that little sheet right there. Okay, so I'm going to tuck that in, and then the last thing, I'm going to add a tiny bit of journaling using a plain white card. I'm going to add some journaling lines and some puffy stars from the Felicity Jane sticker set, and the journaling is going to say 3:30 a.m. Apparently, this is the perfect time to open gifts, according to Rennie. Off to the tree we went, paper all around. Everyone is content and happy. Off to Denny's for breakfast. And we were up so super early that day, and she came busting into the room and said, Mommy, Maddie, Santa Claus has been here. And we're like, kid, can you go back to bed at least for another hour? But we got up anyway, and we opened presents, and she was so excited. And then, of course, Mommy, I'm hungry. And we went to Denny's and had a very early morning breakfast. And surprisingly, we weren't the only ones in Denny's having an early morning breakfast that morning. And then we came back and we crashed. So this page is all done. The photos were just of me and Corinne and Aubrey opening up gifts. So that's all I felt like adding to that to finish it out. All right, so the very last thing I'm going to do is I took this pocket by Becky Higgins, and it's a 5x5 pocket, and it has a smaller pocket in front that you can add a label to. And what these pockets are for is popping in memorabilia. And I've used these pockets many times in my scrapbooking project, so I thought I would add one to this December Daily album. And what that's going to house is my daughter's wish list and her letters from Santa Claus. And I thought that'd be the perfect way to store these, mainly because these letters are written on 8.5 by 11 paper, and this album's 6 by 8. And so I wanted to make sure that it fit in there without actually compromising the letter. I had to trim that card down just a bit so it fit in that front pocket. I folded up the letters, slipped that in the pocket, and I'm good to go. I had to make some minor adjustments to the pocket so that it fit in that 6-ring binding system because it only has 3 holes in it. And so I was able to punch a couple extra holes and make it work. So my 2017 December Daily album is finally completed just in time because I have all of my 2018 December Daily goodies. This year I'm using the Ali Edwards main kit. I also purchased some extra things, and I will have a little special guest this holiday season. My daughter is going to be using the Ali Edwards December Daily Kids kit that's designed by Brandy Kincaid, and she's doing her own unboxing, which I think you guys will find super sugary, sweet, and adorable, because I do. And I cannot wait to share with you my process, my intentions, doing the unboxing and whatnot. Now, I'm going to do a complete walkthrough of the 2017 album, and the next video, it may not be the next, it may be the one afterwards, I'm not quite sure, but you'll see it here in just a few, sometime this week, and I'll do a complete walkthrough of this entire album. If you have any questions about this project, about my album in particular, make sure you post it down in the comments section below. And hey, before you go, make sure you subscribe to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, and when you do, click that bell indicator. That way you'll know every time I post a new video here on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Now you go and be creative.